Hi everybody, this is I Heart Plum Bobs, and basically I came back to go ahead and go over some of the Sims 3 Supernatural questions that some of you Simmers asked. These are some good questions, but some of them aren't, to be honest, because, some of them are repetitive. And I'll just tell you when some of them are repetitive and just don't make any sense, because sometimes you Simmers can do that. No offense to Simmers. So let's get started, I guess. So the first one is kind of like a semi-question. Basically, they're telling Sam Karsky to go ahead and, basically tell them more about the lunar cycle, and they're asking one question, which is it customizable? So here's what he said. He said, in The Sims 3 Supernatural, we want to bring a new element of gameplay that will affect both ordinary Sims and supernatural Sims, playing into the theme of magic, mystery, and mischief. We thought that a luminous lunar cycle would set the stage for some strange things that go bump in the night. Of course, none of the Sims games would be complete without the option of customization, so the team created a new task specific to the lunar cycle to allow for more player customization. In The Sims 3 Supernatural, you can set your lunar cycle to rotate through different phases of the moon, which can last from anywhere from 2 to 10 days. If you wish, you can also choose to have the moon stay static, which means it'll basically if you want a full moon for the whole time, like you want your sim, or basically aka werewolf, to transform every night, then you can make it static so that the moon will stay there, will be full moon every single night. So you can do that too. For instance, if you wish to have full moon every night, you could do so by selecting the static option. The same works for any of the other moon phases. Sorry. So that's a nice thing to know. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this expansion pack. I'm glad that you can make it static, cause who wants to keep changing stuff every single day when you go into Sims 3 gameplay? But I guess that's pretty cool too. Next question is hold on. Sorry everyone. It says, can regular Sims adopt supernatural children? And it's kind of a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. But it says no, Sims will not be able to adopt supernatural children, but players will be able to create supernatural children directly from Creator Sim. So yes, that's one of the questions. Let's go on to the next. Can pets be supernaturals? Zombie dogs or fairy kittens would make a whole game itself. In The Sims 3 Supernatural, pets that you've created using The Sims 3 Pets will not take on supernatural abilities. However, witches that own a cat or one of the other small animals will gain Witches that own a cat or one of the other small animals will gain special benefits, such as having an increased skill with the wand, having an increased mood, and having a slower drain on magic. Pretty cool. I like how that affects your sim. It's pretty cool. And like I said, can pets turn to zombies? This is basically like a repetitive question that I just answered before this one. Can pets turn to zombies? The answer is no. Pets do not turn to zombies. So yeah. What's new for ordinary Sims? It says there are lots of new things for ordinary Sims to discover in The Sims 3 Supernatural. For instance, there are new traits to choose from such as Supernatural Skeptic or Supernatural Fan, which will sway your Sims one way or another to either get along with supernatural Sims or want to steer clear of them. These traits create very humorous new storylines that are fun to watch as your Sims fully embrace the unknown or try to ward them off. So, pretty cool. I really do like that. Let's go on. What else? In addition, ordinary Sims will have new interactions to choose from. Two of my favorites are Ask to Protect or Promise to Protect, which allows Sims to lean over on their fellow neighbors in case of an unwanted encounter with a supernatural Sim. I find these interactions fun, additions to the game that will enable you to create more dynamic relationships and tell more intriguing stories. We have tons of new CAS clothing. Wonderful. I like creating Sims, but then again, I don't like having to take so much time. But that's good that they have a lot of new CAS objects and clothing. So it says they have tons of new CAS clothing, built by objects and specialty items that can be enjoyed by ordinary Sims. Sims can build their experience in alchemy by brewing a range of elixirs that have numerous effects. Ordinary Sims can also venture into a new career as a fortune teller or take a visit to travelers wagon, wagon to have their fortune read. Additionally, ordinary Sims will live in the new town of Moonlight Falls with a rich landscape, mysterious new venues, and surprising new lunar cycle that will cause a stir in the town and have strange effects on ordinary Sims with the onset of the full moon. So yes, pretty cool. Really enjoying this. This is one question that was already asked before. If you didn't watch the live chat, here's what the question was. It says, can supernatural Sims have babies? If so, what will it be? I don't know what they mean by what will it be. It says your supernatural Sims are certainly able to create children, whether it's a relationship between the two of the same supernatural Sims, two differing supernatural Sims, or a supernatural Sim with an ordinary Sim. They will be able to start a family and have a baby. And it says the genetic system in the Sims 3 Supernatural works the same way as in the Sims 3 base game. The offspring of two of the same supernatural Sims will have a very high chance of inheriting the looks and traits of that supernatural type. The offspring of two differing supernatural Sims will have a chance, and will take on the looks of one side of the family and not the other. So the same goes for offspring of supernatural Sims and ordinary Sims. The offspring will either have the looks and traits of a supernatural parent or the ordinary parent. To be honest, I really wish they would have some hybrids. Like as in Sims 2, what was that? They gave us so many options like werewolf, zombies, plant Sims, and all that. But now in Sims 3, we can't basically do anything like that. So I guess that's really bad. I don't enjoy that. But one thing I did create while playing The Sims 3 Showtime, I have The Sims 3 Showtime late night, and what I did was I took the two adults, since they were humans, like human types, and what I did was cross them, or I had both of them have offspring, and what I did was I did the fertility treatment, and basically I ended up coming out with a genie vampire. And to be honest, it was kind of weird because I've heard that many times EA say that you can't do that, but I did it. And basically the sim came out with vampire eyes. It could drink plasma, even though it was a genie, and it floated around like a genie. It was really cool, and I really enjoyed it. And I still have that family today, so I'll probably try to get some pictures of that if I can. But yeah, let's continue. The genetic system in The Sims 3 Supernatural works the same way as in the base. Sorry, I just read that. Sorry. Let me go read the next question. It says, will we be able to determine the number of pets in the neighborhood, mainly unicorns? To be honest, I think that you shouldn't have to, control how many pets are in the neighborhood or, unicorns. That's just my opinion, because specifically unicorns, those are like a rare chance to have, And every time if I see a unicorn, I'm like trying to add it to my family like quickly. But I mean, that's basically how it is. I don't think you should have to control the pets. Maybe, well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say maybe you should be able to control the number of pets, but not the unicorns. The unicorns are like a rare chance in the Century game, and I know that EA meant for that to be like that. But yes, that was one of the questions. But the answer to that question was you'll be able to control um, whether or not the game populates the world with horses and pets, but not specifically unicorns. Who doesn't like unicorns? So yeah, that was one of the answers. Next question. It says, I would like to know if a zombie population slider will be included with the rest of the sliders. In the chat, celebrity sliders and vampire, werewolf, and etc. sliders were mentioned, but not zombies. Sorry if this is repetitive. Um, and I also want to ask this question, but I don't. Yeah, I think that that's a good question. One thing for me, I do not think I will enjoy the Sims 3 Supernatural Zombies, only because I saw the interactions and they didn't seem like something that I would probably be using a lot. Even though I will try out that Supernatural type, I just didn't think that it was something that I would be using. Sorry if you don't feel the same way, but it was just my opinion. Sorry. But the answer to that question was the answer control settings are on off checkboxes, not sliders. Zombies are not one of the sim types that you can control from the new settings. If you are interested in having more more or less zombies in your world, there are other ways that have your population other ways that your population can be affected, such as using your sim to turn other sims into zombies through the new brain interaction. Also look for zombies to appear in the world on the full moon. Those zombies will be cured the following morning. Sims can also make elixirs that create or cure zombies, so that's also a good thing. Therefore, increasing or reducing the amount that you have in your world. One thing that I'm not excited about and I do not like is that the what she said was the population sliders. It's not a population slider. It's basically a checkbox, and I don't think that that should be like that. Only because as like in Sims 3 Late Night, for anybody who has the Sims 3 Late Night, the vampires kind of overrided Bridgeport or whichever time you were playing in. But I guess like if you wanted like a certain amount of fairies, you can't have that. You can only like have like fairies, or you can't have fairies. And if you have fairies, then they may just end up overriding the town. Like everywhere you go, you might have fairies. So that's pretty not cool, not cool. Sicky Vicky, or Vicky Sicky. But I guess that's okay. But I do wish they were sliders. So yes. The next question is it possible to choose different settings for amount of adults in every new save game, or is it just one slider for every game? It says the new population controls affect the game globally, just like the other settings in the options menu are not associated with individual save games. So basically, if you did not understand that, say you have like two families and you save both of them. Say I have the witches and the fairy things, and I have them on two different separate save games. Like on the witches, they were asking, can you have like no vampires or anything like that, and just have witches? And the answer is no, you can't do that. You like, well, no, I'm not. Let me finish what I'm saying. But the second one, like on fairies, can you just have fairies? The thing is, no. It counts for every single game, and what it does is basically you can't do that. Basically, it counts for the whole game. So you have 3 save games, and basically it'll only go for 1. So sorry everybody, I had this moment where I was just staring at the TV. It says, so say that I start a new game in Bridgeport, and I set the vampire population to 0. Will the pre-made vampires stay as vampires, or will they turn human? This is also a good question, and I do like this question. It says answers. The answer is vampires that already exist in Bridgeport at the time you uncheck vampire checkbox will remain as vampires in Bridgeport. The existing vampires can still turn other Sims. However, the game will not auto-populate new vampires to the world after you uncheck the box. I do not like that. But hey, this is The Sims 3. That really does suck. I wish they would like go into depth and I think they should like think of these questions and try to fix it. But hey, I'm not EA, and I'm pretty sure this is something hard to develop, so I'm not gonna say anything. Let's go to the next question. It says, I know that you can control supernatural sims and celebrities, but are paparazzi going to be controllable as well? Or is that not possible because they will not be part of the playable population? And the answer is, you cannot directly control the paparazzi population with the new settings, but there are 2 new options that will allow your players to limit the celebrity populations in different ways. And as a result, the paparazzi are drawn to them will be reduced. One option will allow you to prevent your active household from gaining celebrity status, and with the other option gives players the ability to control whether or not the game tries to maintain a balance of Sims with the celebrity status in the world. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You can't control the paparazzi, but then again, you basically can. I mean, with the celebrities, if you don't have like any celebrities in your world, then like, hey, that means no paparazzi, right? So, that's pretty cool. But if you want celebrities, then expect some paparazzi. Sorry you cannot control it, but I guess that's just how it is. And the last question is, I did watch the video, but not live. But will the population control be available without the EP? Will it be via patch or an update? I'm not planning on buying the EP, but would already like to control the vampire and celebrity populations I already have. And the answer is the new settings will be available in your options menu if you have one of the expansion packs installed that include one or more specific sim types that are supported. The new settings will be released through a game update that will go out with the launch of the Sims 3 Supernatural. So yes, that's also a good question. I am buying this EP, but I think that's a good question. Only because some of you may not feel as if this EP is like a good expansion pack to buy. So I guess that's a good question. But hey, I mean, sometimes it doesn't come with all the features that you want, but hey, that's a good thing that you can also control the supernatural sims you have in your town, even though you won't buy the Sims 3 Supernatural. That's pretty cool. So yep, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed these questions. I'm pretty sure more questions will be coming soon. Just sit back and relax, and I'm pretty sure they'll be coming soon. And when they come soon, I'll be the one to basically tell you about them. So I guess that's it for today, and have a good day, everybody. Bye.